Hey, so to continue working with polynomials and some of the operations, we combine like terms with adding and subtracting them. So we're going to do that one more time, because that also goes into multiplying polynomials. And then we're just going to look at multiplying. So this is similar to what we saw in the last video. So we have 2x to the 4 y squared times the trinomial 3x to the 6 y to the 7 minus 8x to the 4th y minus 5. From that, I'm going to subtract 3x to the 6 times the trinomial 7x squared y plus 2x to the 4th y to the 9 minus 6x squared y. Okay, so I'm going to get stuff out of parentheses first. So I'm going to take my 2x to the 4y and distribute it to every part in there. I'm not going to write it out this time, I'm just going to do it a little bit more in my head. So 2x to the 4th y squared times 3x to the 6th y to the 7. Start it out, 2 times 3 is 6, x to the 4 times x to the 6, add, so x to the 10, y squared, y to the 7, add, y to the 9. 2x to the 4th y squared times a minus 8x to the 4th y, so 2 times minus 8 would be minus 16, x to the 4, x to the 4, x to the 8, y squared times y, don't forget that has an exponent of 1, so y to the 3rd. Okay, and 2x to the 4th y squared times a minus 5. So 2 and minus 5 should be minus 10. X to the 4 times, well, no x is there, so it's just going to continue on. X to the 4, y squared, no y's there. So I'm just going to bring it over and have minus 10 x to the 4 y squared. Okay, so now I'm going to look at my next set. And I'm going to take my 3x to the 6, I'm going to multiply that through. I want to be very careful that I remember that this is a minus 3x to the 6. So I'm distributing the negative along with that 3x to the 6. So take the whole thing and distribute it through. So minus 3 times a positive 7 would be minus 21. X to the 6 times x squared would be x to the 8. And my y is still there. Minus 3 times a positive 2 would be minus 6. X to the 6 times x to the 4 is x to the 10, and y to the 9 is still there. Minus 3 times a minus 6 would be plus 18. X to the 6 times x squared would be x to the 8, and my y is still there. So now I'm going to look for like terms, see if I can simplify this at all. So if I start off, I have a positive 6x to the 10, y to the 9. If I go further down, I have a minus 6x to the 10, y to the 9. Since I have a positive one of them and a minus one of them, they are actually just going to completely cancel out. Okay, next term is an x to the 8, y cubed. I have no other ones that are like that, so I'm just going to have minus 16 x to the 8, y cubed. Okay, next is minus 10 x to the 4 y squared, no other one like that, so minus 10 x to the 4 y squared. I don't know why I wrote this right under it, but I did. And my last one is x to the 8y. I do have another one like that. So let's see, minus 21 of them plus 18 of them would be minus 3 x to the 8y. So I'll rewrite it real quick so it's a little bit clearer. I have minus 16 x to the 8y cubed minus 10 x to the 4 y squared minus 3 x to the 8y. I want to check, make sure I have no other like terms. I do have x to the 8's there, but because the y is with them, they're not like terms, so I cannot combine them. Okay. So what happens if I multiply a binomial times a trinomial? Before, in the previous one, we just multiplied a monomial all the way through. We're going to start off by approaching it the exact same way. I'm going to take my entire binomial and multiply that all the way through. So I'm going to take my entire x plus 7 and write it as x plus 7. Multiply that times my x squared. Take my x plus 7. Multiply that times my minus 3x, take my x plus 7, and multiply that times my minus 8. Multiplication is commutative, so I put the monomial in front because I'm more used to seeing it that way. So now this is a lot more familiar. I'm going to distribute x squared through, would give me x cubed plus 7x squared. Distribute my minus 3x, don't forget it's minus 3x, minus 3x squared minus 21x, and distribute my minus 8, minus 8x minus 56. Okay, now I'm going to look for like terms. X cubed, I don't have any. X squared, I have positive 7x squared minus 3x squared would be plus 4x squared. X's, I have minus 21x and minus 8x, so minus 29x. And my constant is just minus 56. Make sure I have no other like terms. And in this problem, you actually want to write in something called descending order. Descending order you use when you only have one variable. We only have one variable here. And you just start at your highest exponent and go down to your lowest. So we start at x cubed, x squared, x, and then no exponent. Well, no variable. So that is considered descending order. Okay, there's an easier way to multiply these. This one, I had a unnecessary step. I don't actually need the second step right there. If I look at it, all I did in the second step was write it out. So every term in my first parentheses was going to get multiplied by every term in my second parentheses. So I wrote it out. So x got multiplied by x squared, 3x, and 8. And my plus 7 got multiplied by x squared, 3x, and 8. So I can skip that step as long as I make sure that my first term in my first parentheses, in the case of my second example here, my 3x, is multiplied through to my 5x squared, my minus 6x, and my minus 1. So let's do that. 3x times 5x squared would give me 15x squared. 3x times a minus 6 would be minus 18 x squared. Ooh, that first one is not an x squared. 3x times 5x squared should actually give me 15x cubed. Do not make that mistake. Alright, so 3x times minus 6 should be minus 18x squared. 3x times a minus 1 should be minus 3x. Okay, so my first term in that first parentheses got multiplied all the way through. So I'm going to now take my second term in that first parentheses and multiply that all the way through. So positive 2 times 5x squared would be plus 10x squared. Positive 2 times minus 6x would be minus 12x. And positive 2 times minus 1 would be minus 2. Look for like terms. 15x cubed does not have one, so I'm just going to recopy it. Minus 18x squared has plus 10x squared. So minus 8x squared. And minus 3x has minus 12x. So minus 15x. My constant, my minus 2, is just still there. Try this again. I'll draw a little divider so it looks like different problems. So I'm going to start with my first term, my first parentheses, my 2x. And I'm going to multiply that all the way through to my second parentheses. So I'm going to get 2x times 4x squared would be 8x cubed. 2x times 3x would be plus 6x squared. 2x times 6 would be plus 12x. I'm going to take my second term and multiply that all the way through. So positive 3 times 4x would be, 4x squared would be plus 12x squared. Positive 3 times 3x would be plus 9x. Positive 3 times 6 would be plus 18. Combine like terms. 8x cubed doesn't have any, so 8x cubed. X squared, I have 6x squared plus 12x squared, so plus 18x squared. I have positive 12x and positive 9x, so plus 21x. And my constant is just plus 18. Make sure I have no other like terms. I don't. Single variables written in descending order, so that's good. Okay, let's try the last one. This time I have a trinomial times a trinomial. I'm going to use the exact same method though. I'm going to make sure every term in my first parentheses is multiplied through by every term in my second parentheses. So I have an x squared, and I'm going to distribute that x squared all the way through. So x squared times 3x squared should be 3x to the 4. X squared times positive 2x would be plus 2x cubed. X squared times minus 1 minus 1x squared. Okay, I'm going to take my minus 5x, don't forget that the minus 5x, and multiply that all the way through. Minus 5x times 3x would be minus 15x cubed. Minus 5x times a positive 2x minus 10x squared. Minus 5x times a minus 1 plus 5x. Okay, I'm going to go to my last term in the first parentheses, at minus 3, and multiply that all the way through. So minus 3 times 3x squared minus 9x squared minus 3 times positive 2x minus 6x minus 3 times a minus 1 plus 3. Okay, look for like terms. 3x to the 4th I do not have, so I'm just going to keep it as 3x to the 4. 2x cubed, yeah, I got another x cubed down there. So 2x cubed minus 15x cubed would be minus 13x cubed. Minus 1x squared, got a minus 10x squared, and I have a minus 9x squared. So minus 1 minus 10 would be minus 11, minus 9, minus 20x squared. X's, I have a positive 5x and a minus 6x. So that'd be minus 1x. You don't need to write the 1, so just minus x. My constant is still just plus 3. Check to make sure you have no other like terms. I don't. It's ran in descending order, meaning highest exponent to the lowest. So I'm done.